Hi, my name is Sammy Joe. I'm a filmmaker, content creator, and the creative director of Cinematographer Creative Media, a video production company. And I've been doing this for way over 15 years now. Truth is, as early as 2000, I'd already had interest in filmmaking. When I see kid actors delivering, because as very early in my life, as early as 92, 93, 94, I was already acting as a child actor in our church and doing pretty well. So I'd grown up with acting and I wanted to be an actor initially. I never knew I was going to be behind the camera. All my dream was to grow up as an actor. My dream was to be an actor. But somewhere along the line, I just found, being behind the camera quite interesting because I started out in Kano, watching movies and seeing kid actors doing things, knowing that I could do those same things sort of sparked, my fancy. And basically that was how it all started. It means I'll have to go as far back as 2000, 2001. Pretty much before then, I'd been a kid actor, a child actor in our church. And that was how I grew up. And of course, I was doing pretty well. People were commending me for that I was a very good actor. And I wanted to become an actor. So, seeing child actors doing well in films, I could remember Peter Bono Jr. and a couple of other actors at the time sort of caught my fancy, and I wanted to be like them. So when I see Nollywood movies, everything I think about is how would I get in front of the camera, all right? But in 2001, I was introduced to the Actors Guild of Nigeria in Kano. Of course, I started in Kano. So I joined them, and the rest is history. But at some point, it was imperative for me to start working behind the scenes. I think pretty much because I wasn't getting opportunities, really. I wasn't getting acting opportunities, which was actually predicated on the fact that I was living in Kano, somewhere that wasn't really, known for entertainment. So I wasn't getting those opportunities, but there were filmmakers, and I just thought to start that way. So I started learning the ropes of filmmaking, pretty much behind the scenes. And I think I directed my first short film in 2005, yes. And in 2007, I directed my first music video. And ever since then, it's been a ride. Needless to say that I've lost interest as an actor. My passion for this industry is still ever blazing, like it's burning. That's all I grew up knowing. I remember my dad telling me he wanted me to become a lawyer, and I told him no, I was going to be an actor. We fought about that, and I ended up winning because I told him, even if you send me to a law school, I'm going to end up disgracing you because that's not what I want to do. And thankfully he listened and allowed me do what I wanted to do. So this is all I've ever known. Any money I've ever made in my life, listen to this, every dime I've ever made in my life came as a result of this filmmaking. Trust me, nothing else. In fact, I've ventured into other businesses and I lost money. But this is what gives me money. But you need to understand that it's beyond the money. The passion had been burning, and it was what was at the forefront of this, and that was what helped me learn. When I decided to learn the various skills, the various departments, so to speak, of filmmaking, it was the passion that brought me this far. So the passion is still burning, ever blazing. Sometimes I feel like I'm not doing as much as I should do because I've stayed in this industry long enough. I'm not delivering as into the marketplace as much as I should, which gave birth to my online content creative warehouse, just a way of giving back and teaching people, from my, in quotes, well of knowledge. So yes, the desire is still burning hot. Let me give you just a little backstory. When I came into Lagos in 2012, that was why I left Kano, because this is where everything is happening in entertainment. So I came into Lagos, but of course, as with everything, life was hard, pretty much hard. And at some point, I needed a lifeline. So I opted, into the banking sector and started working. Worked for, say, 11 months, and I was frustrated. That was the most frustrating season of my life. And I went back into the streets, right? Because that's all I needed. I just wanted to survive. If I could be delivering this service and have food to eat, I'd be fine. That was how I was thinking at the time. It wasn't really about whether I could be rich or could get a car or even, afford the good things of life. But it was that passion that led me. I can say, it's safe to say that hunger actually, propelled the business side of me, because nobody knew me and I needed people to know me. I had a couple of people in the banking sector then who were in entertainment who promised that if I resigned, they were going to help me. But guess what? They didn't. They all, just forgot about me. When I called, they wouldn't pick my calls. And then it dawned on me that, Sammy, you are on your own. So what did I do? There was no clear-cut vision. There was no direction. I just needed to survive. One thing I wasn't going to do was to return to Kano. I wasn't going to do that. So I knew I had to survive in Lagos. So first thing I did was that I printed, my card. I didn't even register the business. I first printed my card. I remember very vividly. You will like this story. It was in 2015, I remember, when I had just 12,000 naira in my account. Just 12,000 naira. What I did then was, I took 6,000 naira to print my business card, and I took another 6,000 naira to CMS to get a pair of suits, right? And that was all. So I think I had about 1,000 remaining. That was my all in all. What was the strategy? To go to open places to market myself. Because I'd read books and they are said that if you are not selling, it's either because your product isn't good or people do not know about you. And I knew I was good at what I was doing. So the second was the option. I knew I was good at what I was doing. So the later was the reason, which is that nobody knew about me. So I started going to ShopRite. The Palms Mall in Lekki was where I would go to, because of course you see that influx of people there. So I would go there and be sharing my complimentary cards to people. I did that for about, say, 3 months and nobody ever contacted me. I'm sure, they would just toss the thing as soon as I leave their presence. But I kept doing that. I kept marketing because I didn't have an option and I couldn't beg. So that was what I was doing. And one day I went to the Palms Mall, marketed a few people. Some people sort of, asked me to leave their presence and spoke to me. My mood was dampened. I was disheartened. And I just thought that this is the last year. I'm not going to do this again. Maybe I'll look for something else. Maybe I'll go back to my banking job, but I'm not going to do this again. And then, as I was about leaving the mall, I saw a woman with her kids. And this instinct in me asked me to approach her. Of course, I didn't want another embarrassment, but it kept pounding on me to go and talk to her. So I walked up to her, introduced myself to her, and this is what I did. Well, my assessment of Nollywood right now is that they are doing an impressive job. They are really, really growing, like really putting Nigeria on the map. You can imagine the amount of work that we have put, in that brought Netflix into Nigeria, that sort of brought their attention. And right now there is Netflix Nigeria. it's no mean feat at all. We have big players who are representing us in international markets, right? And they are doing a pretty good job. In terms of storytelling, I think we're doing well. I mean, there's room for improvement, but we're doing a good job. In terms of cinematography, I think there's a lot to be done in that regard. In terms of picture quality, that's where I have an issue with what we do, because there are a lot of indices to be looked at when you're making a movie, or that determines, sort of the image quality. Because let nobody kid you, no matter how good your story is, if the image isn't really, captivating, truth is people would lose interest. All right, so it's very impressive, and I think we have a lot of job to do in that regard. Because if it's in terms of the equipment, I think we're using, off the top of my head, I can't remember, or maybe only a few equipment that the guys in Hollywood use in terms of shooting that we do not have access to right now. The cameras, they use Arri Alexa cameras. We use Arri Alexa cameras, Arri Alexa LF. All right, but when the job comes out, it's nothing compared to what you see over there, even though they use the same camera. And I think it boils down to technical capabilities. I think we need more technically capable DPs, people like Yinka Edwards. Of course, he lives in the UK now and he works with some international DPs, right? So he's bringing his, A game into the industry, and every movie he bounces on, you're rest assured that movie is going to be, top notch. So I think in terms of visualization, we need to really improve on that. Color grading is very critical, and I see that a lot of our filmmakers are ignoring that aspect. We need to really budget color grading. Like we need to put it as part of our budget. You don't leave editors to color grade for you. So that really enhances the quality of your film. Directors like Kunle Afolayan doesn't joke with it. He has his colorists abroad, he takes his film to grade abroad. And if you look at the quality of his films, you know that he's really top notch, he's top quality. So I think in that regard, we have a lot of work to do. Visual effects, of course, we have a lot of work to do, but we're growing. How many years are we compared to these guys that have been in the industry for hundreds of years? So I feel there's room for improvement, but we're not doing badly at all.
Can you tell us some of the projects you've worked on?
This thing